Recording. Okay, hi everyone. Thank you for joining. I've been asked to also ask everyone to switch on their videos if you can for a little bit, just before we dive into the larger conversation. So if you guys would like to say hi, switch on your video, please do that. Hi. Hi. Okay, good. Good to see faces. Hi, hi. Hi, thank you for joining. Dipesh, Abhimanyu, Sanket, Krishna. If you guys could also please say hi, it would be great. But nonetheless, just to hi, Anul. Okay, just to give a quick update from at least my side quickly. I'm just going to share my screen for some of the things that we've been working on in parallel for the communication to be on track. I think Ashish, Bhanu, both of you are here. So we're putting together a quick view on Notion, like a starter kit kind of a thing or whatever. This will be linked to the website and also to everyone who's on the group, where we're just putting together a couple of basic prerequisites, things that you will need, certain documentation and all, some platforms in place. We are populating it as we go along, but these are a couple of templates we're sort of putting down over here so that if anybody comes in, they can get started pretty quickly with all the stuff that is there. Because sometimes, of course, while there's GitHub for the technical repository and there's the Telegram for regular conversations, we're trying to put at least one, central kind of layout for everyone's visibility into all the work that is happening in the back end, just to, for everyone who's new and who's of course joined in. It's been just over a week since we started all this. When we started the initiative, at least for the oxygen concentrator at the moment, and a lot of interest has been there on the ground. We have a lot of registrations for labs and individuals. I think about over 100 labs have registered at the moment. We are in the process of validating them as well. And at the same time, there are over 500 individuals who are registered to sort of help out as part of the M19 initiative. So, which is pretty fantastic. But I think what we're trying to do is organize some of our communication here, and hopefully we should be able to share this very soon. We've also put a little quick charter in place for the collective, and we have I'm going to send this to everyone to use as well, but we also have a little logo for the collective that we've designed. And this is a little quick charter about what the vision, thought, why are we doing this, why you should be part of it, and a sort of an open disclosure agreement, because this is all open source. We want to have everyone sort of, take a look at this and share with each other, and, only grow the collective, not only for the problem at hand, but in general at large for many others that we can all collectively solve together. So that's what we've been doing as well on the back end. I will, Weber wants to say something, so I'm going to stop. Do you want to say something?
No, I think this is what Richa shared over here, the charter. I think it's very important because that's sort of the philosophy of the collective. It's a collective effort towards solving not just one problem, but many. And what we've done is we've taken an NDA and made it an open disclosure agreement because we would like that everyone that is part of this collective, while they are taking from this community, are also giving back to the community by sharing what they're doing. So that is sort of a very important philosophy of the collective, that yes, take everything, it's all free knowledge, and but at the same time, if you end up making something beyond, please do share back so that the collective can grow together and everyone benefits out of the same. The NDA also says that the ODA also says that you can go ahead and commercialize the bots. However, there is a clause for profiteering at a cap of 2x the price of the bomb and the amount. So yes, you making profits is not a bad thing, and that's a really important thing for this collective to grow. But however, just to make sure that it's just not completely.
1 second, let me just switch the Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. But just from that aspect that everyone is fair towards each other, that's the thought of this collective. That's about it. Back to Richa, and then tomorrow, I guess with Anul, we're planning to have the engineering call, which is going to be more in depth as to the engineering side of things. And if you have any questions in terms of the device, we will also try and demo the device to you, the one that we've made using all Indian parts at Goa. I believe there's 7 devices currently sort of in their testing stages across the country, 7 to 8. So we can actually show all of them off and try and understand what are the issues and how we can improve and build them together. Yep, back to you.
So, and just before I finish and pass it along to everyone else. So a couple of things that we've sort of put in order is that one, I will be sharing the charter, the notion, how do you organize, how do you get started, all of that with everybody also soon. Everyone's been working, Bhanu, Ashish, Vijay is also working on a larger level of documentation for the modified version that we've made in Goa as well, with certain things taken into consideration in terms of the engineering pieces, and which Anul will talk about tomorrow as well on the engineering call. So all of that is sort of put together so that it's easy access. What we're also doing one more level is that verifying all the labs registered. So we will sort of run a quick check about what skills you have. Do you have any gaps? Do you have access to the tools? What do you need to get started so that, at least we are all at least helping each other out from a perspective of matchmaking as well. And then on terms of the fundraising, while we have the fundraiser on, we're also getting a lot of partners on board to hopefully fundraise. The only place where we are, at the moment that we've slowed it down a little bit is because we want to test out the first and advanced prototypes before we go ahead and, really start disseminating more funds to everybody else, because we all have to be super confident before we sort of go into this deeper. So the fundraiser is on. We are in conversation, at least from my perspective, at least we are in conversation with a lot of really great folks who want to be part of the initiative, large foundations who've really
well, today Fab Foundation signed the agreement, so that's a very good one.
Yeah, we've got
Professor Neil and Sherry are on board, and they're supporting us in every way. We believe that tomorrow we'll also have an engineering call with Professor Neil to also discuss about the shortcomings and the ways to overcome them in terms of the designs and make them more stronger and better.
So actually, just to add to that for people who don't know, and because this is getting recorded, so I just want to put it on the record that Fab Foundation is the OG Fab Lab network and Makerspace network. So they started back in 2000 in the US to create a whole network of makerspaces, Fab Labs across the country. And there are over 1,500 labs that they've activated over the last 20 years. And they've been obviously part of the MIT's Wits and Center Atom, and the Fab Foundation is, of course, a fantastic organization, a very big organization in the United States. And we're really excited that they see the vision of what we're trying to do and support it as well. So which is pretty great. And hopefully we'll be able to raise more funds to distribute it to all of you through that collaboration as well. And tomorrow the call, we are also having an engineering call with Professor Neil, who's of course the head of Fab Foundation, and also Professor Manu Prakash from Prakash Labs at Stanford, to understand what the engineering would look like, if there's anything that we need to take into consideration. And I'll pass that on to Anul a little later. But great minds coming together. All of us are trying our real best to make this happen on all fronts. And that's pretty much what we've been, at least my updates are for tonight from our end. And I will actually pass it on to Anul for certain engineering updates, maybe from Goa, and then we'll pass it around to everyone else as well. So thank you.
Hey everyone. So on the update side, I think we started this build around the 2nd of May. There's been some setbacks due to the lack of components and procurement because of lockdown issues. But I think at the end of the week, we at least today we have a machine that works. We have it loaded with zeolite. We have used 2mm to start with, just to kind of prove that it works. It doesn't matter if it makes 70% or 80%, but want to make sure that all the leaks are plugged, the code works as required. We may have to tune the code a bit because the mechanics of the system are slightly different in terms of size and capacity and so on. So that's the current situation. Unfortunately, without an oxygen sensor, all of this can't really be measured. So I guess the biggest bottleneck is waiting for that sensor to arrive. That's apparently en route now. I hope we can get it by tomorrow, in which case day after we can build our oxygen analyzer. We're getting just a sensor to start with. So we will build our own oxygen analyzer. We may not have any means of calibrating it right away, but at least we will have some readings of, let's say, ambient measurement, which should be 20.9. So we know what that is, and then if we'll see how much the machine improves that at the output. So pneumatic wise, electronic wise, the machine is ready. We have kind of run it for a while. And then now just waiting for this. There's a couple of other stuff going on in the electronic side in the background. We're trying to make some kind of let's say, an easy to use black box, which is a controller of sorts for oxygen concentrators. So considering what it needs in terms of sensors for temperature, humidity measurement, oxygen concentration, flow rate of the output, and so on. Maybe a couple of additional outputs to control additional valves, which we may or may not want to activate, at least during prototyping, for example. There could be additional thermal sensors to measure the airflow temperature at the input and especially at the output, because that's what is being sent out of the system. So that's work in progress. I think the other labs have also reached pretty much the same stage. So Bombay, I think, is a similar situation. Chennai, similar. Delhi, I'm not sure, but I think Abhimanyu and some of the other guys there have also reached pretty much the same stage. We have also ordered out a medical grade oxygen analyzer. Again, I think hopefully we should get that day after tomorrow. So that will be hopefully a calibrated device against which we can check our sensors that we use and make them make that a gold standard. So probably day after tomorrow might see some more action from the performance side as far as we are concerned. I mean, we've had a lot of action today, but most of it was just finishing up the assembly and making sure everything works and so on. Atul says that O2 sensors used for emission standards could be used, but I think those are limited in terms of concentration measurement. Those cannot measure 100% oxygen, so can't be used. We need a very specific sensors, and there are quite a few that we have shortlisted. There are several brands, like there's Gasport and there's Envitech and Scilabs and so on. And the folks in the electronics group are sort of working on probably playing around with what is available, because right now we don't have the advantage of being able to choose the best sensor or the cheapest sensor. We have to kind of use what stockists have right now. So that's where we are. I think the project got a great push today. We've worked on the charter quite a bit, the open disclosure as well. We've tried to tie it on with the licensing from hardware for the open hardware license from CERN, and MIT licenses for software, I guess. So that is, I think, all in place. We've also been in the news today. So if you check out Hackaday, you'll find some more additional posts about our project, which is kind of great because it's reaching out to a bigger audience now. And yeah, I think my biggest problem is waiting for things to arrive. I mean, until that happens, really can't do anything more. So kind of itching to get that done. So let's see, tomorrow or day after should be the day of reckoning.
Awesome. Thanks, Anul, for that. I will now open out quickly for everyone's update on this chat. Anybody would like to go next? Okay, Anurag, go for it.
Yeah, hi, Anul. Hi, Rija. So, Anul, I had a question. Are you considering putting these sensors at this point of time on some protocol like CAN or something?
Not at the moment, because apparently it's going to be quite simple. The temperature humidity sensor is going to be over an I2C bus, so it goes directly to the microcontroller. The oxygen could probably be the same, but no matter which, like even if you use a simple Arduino, it has enough GPIOs to probably not worry about CAN bus at the moment, I'd say. At some future point in time, I'm sure we need a more robust controller, which has a lot more than what we are planning. So right now the plan is to keep things simple and work more on value engineering to keep it simple to make and cheap to make. I think that's primary. But otherwise, I mean, if you ask us to go ahead, I mean, we'll keep designing till kingdom come and keep improving it and
Yeah,
keep complicating it unnecessarily. So
Sure, sure.
happy to do that, but I don't want to start that process at all. If
No,
I can,
absolutely. No, absolutely, I get it. Till the time we don't reach a threshold, there is no point in improvising.
exactly, yeah. Also, in additional news, for some of the folks who are working on the CAD design and others, Autodesk has come forward and is arranging to give us licenses to make things easier. So let's see how that works out. I haven't heard back from them, but they said they will. They're trying to do their very best to help us in any way we can. So let's see how that happens. So a lot of, I mean, we're getting attention from a lot of places writing about us. Fab Lab is on board. Autodesk is reaching out to help us. So we have a lot of support and backing. We just have to kind of carry the momentum forward, I guess.
Yep. Awesome. So somebody had a question, I think, on the chat. Hi, any update on zeolite? So we've update on zeolite is that we've received a couple of kinds of zeolite. What we're doing is still testing because I think today is when we put that in the system. So there are a couple of different kinds, right, Anul? And there's one coming in from China as well that we're possibly going to get possibly tomorrow. But the only challenge, I mean, what we're trying to sort of figure out is which one is the most suitable, which is giving results. So that's the only thing. Otherwise, zeolite has come in.
Yeah, that's true. We have one batch already at the asylum, another batch coming in from Bombay, third from China.
Yeah.
En route.
So
What we have is
sorry to interrupt. Do you have their data sheets also?
so we have the actual, let's say, product name and details. So we should probably be able to get it. Frankly, at this point, I really haven't bothered on that particular detail.
I know that is very important. I've sourced 3 or 4 different types of zeolites, and the important thing that is there, and all that, it is completely useless if you buy the zeolite without the data sheets, because you won't be able to calibrate and match up the timing and all that thing.
Yeah, of course, I understand that we all do, but at this point, it's also a question of what's available. And of course, the one from China, I think, is going to be fully documented. The other one, I think, Praveen, I'm not sure if he's on call, but he should be able to. So here's the thing, maybe the documents are available, but I haven't looked at it. Let's put it this way, I've been too busy doing other stuff.
All right.
So, I'm sure it's, I mean, each of those boxes has a particular batch number. So it's pretty well documented in that sense. Finding a data sheet for it shouldn't be difficult. From the data sheet, finding out numbers or the amount of nitrogen it adsorbs and stuff like that shouldn't also be too difficult. But the thing is, you have to take a step at a time. You can't, I mean, the point is get the machine started. Let's see if it does something more than 20%, that means it's working. and then you start fine tuning. So like if I'm building a race car, I try and go straight slow. I mean, it's not, I can't enter Formula 1 straight away. I need to go through Formula 3, Formula 2, and then you go to Formula 1. So let's take baby steps and get, because the other thing is right now this is completely built using locally sourced components. We have no reference or gold standard of what the Oxikit is or what it does, whether it actually does produce oxygen it promises. So these are things that we would know only once we get the Oxikit from the US, which we still haven't received. I think it's been, what, 2 weeks now, Richa?
Yeah, it's been over 2 weeks now, and I think it's going to take another 10 days at least or more, is what I understand. So it's very, yeah, it's a little tricky. I don't know. I mean, we have a large package sort of on the way, but yeah, logistics on the ground is a nightmare. So still, it's a problem. So that's what we've been seeing.
Yeah, I think that's been the case since the beginning, that importing from the US or anywhere at a time like this, we saw this last year as well. I think everyone was aware of this, especially at the time of COVID. The last thing that you want to do is be able to move too many things. Logistics is always a nightmare, especially during COVID. So localized manufacturing is the strongest, and that's what we saw last year as well, or at least if we are able to create stuff using local parts. So
absolutely, which is why I'm really happy to see the really active BOM spreadsheet. I mean, it's kind of spread out to city-wise list, so people are creating things that are available locally, which is really the way to go.
yeah, in the long run, any which way, especially at a time like this during COVID and other pandemics or other things, you can't rely on like flights coming in from the United States, which are anyways coming in full, being bought over by people who have paid a lot of money any which ways to be able to bring in certain specific things or whatever. And now, so that's what our shipment is stuck somewhere in Amsterdam. 18th of May is when that looks like, but I think we should have built it by then, hopefully within Indian parts. So I'm pretty happy about hoping for that part at least.
Well, here's the thing, it's already built. We just have to test it out now.
Yeah, now we need an oxygen analyzer, which is going to come from the US again. So that's the
so that's another aspect. I think Weber has worked with a well-wisher who is going to get us a NIST calibrated oxygen analyzer from Fluke. So I think that would really be the absolute gold standard. At least it has a guaranteed sensor life of 2 years. So I think that should be a good way to verify not just our devices, but also the other devices which other labs will be using between now and the future.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that, Anul. Yes, the device will be very essential for the entire maker community to at least have one, is what I imagine. At least we should have one NIST certified one. It's very expensive, but it's I think investment that hopefully all of us can benefit from, that he's made over there.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I just have one quick update. There is a company in Baroda who develops ultrasonic oxygen analyzers, and they have that on hand. That is only thing is that it's costing a huge amount, 34 plus GST. But if Maker Asylum has that kind of money at this point, they can invest, and that will be delivered to you within 2 days. They were ready to deliver it to me in 2 days. But only thing is it's 34 plus GST, 34K plus GST, and a warranty of 3 years. They will change the sensor if something goes wrong in the sensor.
Priyank, do you also know if they do flow along with concentration? So is it a dual?
It's a three things. It's a flow meter, it's an oxygen concentrator as well as pressure, and it has a inbuilt GSM device, and it is logged onto the cloud. And they have a login based system, and you can monitor all your data. That for if you run your Oxikit for 24 hours, what was the data throughout the 24 hours? That is logged into their cloud.
Interesting. Just share the link with me. We'll check it out. In the meantime, we have also ordered a third oxygen analyzer that's coming in from Delhi. That's costing around the same, right? 28K or something of that.
This costed me 24K due to the black market stuff. This is actually somewhere around 8K.
Is that an oxygen analyzer?
Yeah, this is oxygen.
Yeah, this is,
So these people are making like money
yeah,
out of things
killing. I mean,
outright. Like I like burnt all my cash in to get this. 24.
So this oxygen analyzer uses that same sensor, that OM 101, right?
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
So the sensor that this device uses, we are getting it for around 2.7K. We reckon we can make a nice analyzer for less than 8K, maybe 10K, even lesser, I guess, much for sure. So about a third of the price for sure. Maybe even less actually, because there's not much once you have the sensor really.
So Anul, should I hold the one from Delhi then till we figure out this one? That
No, we still need that in the interim. Then we can, have someone else use it actually.
Yeah, fair. That's fair.
So even if we get just the sensor, we still need a way to, cross-check it against something else.
what about these Honeywell oxygen stuff?
That's the
sensors?
one. That's the Envitech is a Honeywell division.
It is somewhere around 3K, and you fit electronic stuff and you make it working.
Yeah, so that's the one we are talking about.
There was this guy, Krishna from Chennai. He gave me a reference. So this guy has somewhere around 100 of them, and he's selling at 3,000 rupees only.
2,700 plus tax.
3,000 rupees. He had 100 of them.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we are aware of that source. Like I said, that's the sensor that is en route to us, but it hasn't yet landed on our desk. Once it does, assembling, I mean, we already have the rest of the electronics ready. We just have to plug it in once we get it. And once we get the second analyzer from Delhi, we'll compare the two so we can calibrate our device. And then we have two oxygen analyzers that we can use. And then eventually a third one will arrive from the US.
So quick thing on this, actually, Abhimanyu, now that your screen is on, we can see your device. So you want to give us your update as to where is it at the moment?
yeah, are you getting some good results yet?
Yeah, so like I mentioned that we're getting somewhere around 75 to 85% at 7 LPA.
What compressor are you using? Yeah, I see a tanked compressor over there.
Yeah, this is a tank compressor.
Is it a 2 HP or a 1 HP?
This is just 1 HP.
Yeah.
This looks like 1 HP. Yeah.
1 HP. And the thing is that I've been working with like multiple prototypes, and I've tried zeolite that are nano size. I've tried them of 1.6 mm. I've tried them of 0.4 mm. That is there. All these are nano based, sodium based, sorry. I haven't tried the lithium based. And I wanted to know, like, is there a certain protocol that we can get to get the readings right, so that we can share our readings with you also, so that we have a standard. So what we need to know, what we need to do is that we need to set standards, as in what should be the size, what should be the volume of these vessels, and what should be the operating pressure, and all those things. We need to document them properly so that my knowledge can be shared by you people and other people who are at the advanced stages, so that we can share our knowledge and get the insights. So we should start working on that.
Yes, agreed.
Anul, I think we can, I mean, yes, for sure. Thank you, Abhimanyu, for that.
One more thing, Abhimanyu, before that, what's the humidity level that you're facing in Delhi?
I don't know why you guys are so much with the humidity and stuff. I just made this thing, if I can show you. And I've used silicon powder, and I'm not facing much issue with that.
Man, in Goa, the humidity is 80%, 70 to 80%. So here we've put like 2 dehumidifiers, and still we're not going down to under 30% humidity.
I guess this tank also has a lot of water inside of it.
So we heard something else about the tank. Anul, you want to mention that?
Yeah, essentially, once you have a tank compressor and the air remains still, Gorbachev has better insight on that. But essentially, once the the pump isn't working anymore and the tank is full, you obviously have water condensing at the bottom.
Yeah.
All right, so we have water condensing at the bottom, but once the compressor, the pump starts up and it starts stirring up the whole tank, the water vapor becomes slightly more difficult to capture through the moisture separators and so on. So
what I've invested
there
is
a pro and con to using the tank compressor. The advantage is that your motor doesn't have to run continuously because it will switch off once it reaches a certain tank capacity, and that gives it some time to cool down. So I like that, especially in our country because of the high temperatures that we have. But once you use just a compressor without a tank, it has to run all the time. I mean, 24/7, as long as your machine needs to be on, you can't switch off the motor. So managing heat and that stuff is a little bit more tricky.
Anul, quick thing. Can we keep the engineering discussion for tomorrow, please? Everyone, the call is tomorrow, so that'll be really great.
I'll mute my mic.
Okay, thanks. I know it's a occupational hazard, so I'm just going to let that be. I'm just going to quickly ask. Thanks, Abhimanyu. That's fantastic, by the way. Congratulations, and we've been hearing all your updates as well. So that's pretty nice that somebody has it up and running at the moment. So that's pretty cool. Apart from that, I wanted to quickly just ask on the floor if there's any specific update, not engineering questions.
How is the situation in Goa and how many people can travel? Like, how many hands you need in makers right now?
Vaibhav, do you want to answer that question quickly?
So what kind of hands?
I mean, if Anurag is coming to Goa, I think that's what he's asking.
Anurag, if you're coming to Goa,
Yeah.
the situation is pretty straightforward. You can come anywhere you want.
Yeah. I'm just asking what kind of I'll get couple of hands now. I'm not enough. So if the situation is under control, like, can I bring two, 3 people along with me? If that's okay. If not, then we can think.
So Goa in general is at a bad state at the moment. So
Yes.
I would recommend that we have this conversation in a day or two because the lockdown will start.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe at the moment, I guess from an engineering perspective, we're pretty much sorted. But if we need something, obviously, like maybe a day or two, maybe this conversation.
Please,
Goa as such is pretty bad.
Because this is what I heard over the weekend, so I couldn't communicate with you guys. So
yeah.
Cool, man.
Goa is actually a pretty bad space to fall.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. And it's at 50% positivity rate
Yes,
at the moment. It's pretty bad at the moment. So we are in one corner of Goa. That's why I think it's between the asylum and home. So we don't step out of that village. So hopefully we'll be okay. But I don't know, like that's just fingers crossed because it is pretty bad at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, cool. Thanks. Dipesh, you wanted to say something?
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. So I don't have an engineering question, just a update on, I just wanted to remind you about the last question. So it turns out now there are a couple of people, their employers are willing to make donations to the project and they are still up about how can we accept these proceeds.
Got it. Fair enough. I'm just waiting for our engineering team to give me a go ahead with the funding piece. If they're able to make it run by tomorrow, I'm happy to resolve all kinds of funding issues. So I'm just waiting on that. But I mean, I've noted your point. I'm working on it. And we have to also reconnect on the influencer piece, so which we haven't, which I've like I said, I'm toning it down till Anul, Vaibhav do not make that device function. So
yeah, I think that makes sense.
Well, let me just say that again. The device is functioning. We're waiting for an oxygen analyzer to be able to test out our findings. And I think all of us are getting there. It's just, but we need that 100% assurity before we start making too much more noise.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why we're holding on.
In fact, because we are waiting and we didn't know what to do, we carried out a pressure test yesterday. The results we will not be showing around.
That's only for the collective to see later.
It was
It's only
very
for this
entertaining.
slide.
Should we start asking for volunteers as in COVID patients? Anyone wants to volunteer, test out the machine, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah, we had a little secret blast chamber of our own.
Hey, Vaibhav,
This
is going on YouTube. Please just
Yeah,
we'll
but I
share.
mean, it was a pressure test. We conducted a successful pressure test where we were able to test out how much pressure can those PVC tubes handle before they blast. And then we experienced a big blast.
Was it a controlled pressure test?
Huh?
So
Was it a controlled pressure test?
Yes, very much controlled.
Very, very controlled.
Very controlled. But yeah,
So
we
we
were
have
taking
the
video of
material
it, by
here.
the way. So
We have
It was
we have
well
a slow motion
documented.
video of it.
what was the pressure? I think it was about over 5 bars.
Yeah, we managed to reach 5 bars before it blew up.
Yeah.
So which is actually pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
So
Actually,
2 bar pressure.
This is
it was
about the
5 bars
UPVC.
because we used the thinner schedule 20 fittings, right? That, I mean, schedule 40 would have possibly gone
Right.
above it for sure.
So what I'm using out here in this, they are schedule 80 fittings, everything.
Yep, that's the best.
That's the best. We were using 20 and that was meant to crack. And we also wanted to just make sure about the glue as well and a few other things. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
So yesterday I also went till 80. I have all the genetics, pneumatics. I also went till 80 psi, and we were good enough. Not we had a whistle, that a ring type whistle, and that was set at 80 psi. And I also shared a link on the chat. I was able to drain a lot of moisture from that. A lot of moisture. And this is a device which was suggested by Krishna from, I guess, the first one to make the Oxikit. I had a talk with him and he said about this Ident company moisture removal.
Yeah, I mean, we are using something pretty similar, and we have also been experiencing a lot of moisture in our system, which we have been having to vent. So I think that's a problem that needs to be tackled for sure.
Why don't you pay visit to Delhi?
Can't
The
pay-
moisture issue. The moisture issue will be gone.
But if it's if it functions in Goa, then we mean it's foolproof because the moisture is like massive.
Actually, that's one of the things that we also learned, that the Chinese ones that are coming in, because the humidity level in China is very, very low.
Yeah.
And so when they come to India, they don't actually have all the dehumidification parts to it, which means that most of them are malfunctioning in certain parts, and all the zeolites are becoming clunky very, very soon. That's going to reduce the oxygen output very, very soon. So they won't last very long, these devices.
Yeah,
Most of them are dead on arrival, actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're hearing on the ground as well. So actually, that reminds me of a quick thing, just for everyone's update, and we'll be sharing this soon as well. We've also, there was a flow meter issue on the ground with oxygen cylinders. So so one of the collective members in Bangalore with Vijay, Faisal, has come up with the open source design of how you could 3D print or CNC that flow meter. So we'll be sharing that, and if anybody has access to it, can do that locally and give it to the hospitals, because it's apparently becoming a big issue, the regulator and the flow meter.
On that note, there's another project called the Oxymizer, started by Manu Prakash, I guess. And we are actually speaking to him as well tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah.
Which Anul, we should actually bring all the engineering team together to talk to Manu at this point. So tomorrow, I guess we can talk to Manu Prakash. And the Oxymizer is another exciting project that if anyone wants to start doing that as a parallel thing, that's also a possibility. That's a great one. And there are quite a few people interested in that too.
Yeah, so we
Okay, let the page speak.
yeah, sorry, the page, you're saying something?
Is that the Inetra guy?
No, he's a Stanford guy.
Yeah, Prakash Labs.
Prakash Labs at Stanford.
Okay.
Just search for Manu Prakash, a lot of stuff will pop up.
Yeah.
I've heard the name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what the Oxymizer does is it reduces oxygen consumption by a COVID patient by about 50%, because it releases oxygen only while inhaling, and when the patient is exhaling, it switches off the flow. So it's got a control system to sense and put it on and off and stuff like that. It's pretty simple, but quite high tech too.
Can I say this one? Link anything?
Perfect. So awesome. So anyone else? No engineering questions? Any regular update, please, from anywhere else? Yeah.
I have a really small one only. I don't know where we stand with, compared to other labs, but now we have a space and we have people hacking it, and we're also we looked at we've got some leads on local sourcing.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I'm not the technical person. I came across this very randomly. And tomorrow I think the engineering call will really help. I think there's some problems with the sieve, how to go about that. I think they'll tomorrow's engineering call will be, and our fundraiser, the last time I updated, it has risen by 3 times since then.
Wow.
And I think it has to go 3 times more, so still a long way.
Amazing.
And I just wanted to know, there's a sheet that updates template that you guys had put out. Can we start using that? Because I think last time you said there's still some things you wanted to streamline.
In terms of the BOM?
Yeah, the BOM and the update sheet, and one more thing was there.
Yeah, I think what I think Bhanu is doing that piece. So in the case that you want some clarity on that, just ping Bhanu on that, and he can let you know. But overall, like I mentioned in the beginning of the call, we are also putting it on Notion so that everything is right on screen. You don't have to sort of go into Excel sheets to do much. So hopefully soon, by tomorrow, hopefully we'll be able to push that out and more information will be coming. We are also hoping to host another lab coordinators meet in the next 1 or 2 days. So hopefully we'll be able to sort of put everyone together once again on page once we have a few things on board. So awesome. That's great news. Congratulations, guys, and keep us posted. Okay, awesome. Last, Prem from Andhra.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My name is Sai Prem, and I would like to give a quick update with respect to our region where the funds are ready for us, and we have locally sourced all the material. We are just waiting for zeolite so that we can just start making it. And there are people who are really interested to fund us and also ready to purchase it. So the orders are ready, but we are just waiting for the zeolite to arrive so that we can just make with different types.
Just as a personal recommendation, do make the first prototype, make it work, and then take money, please. That'll be, I mean, at least if the funding is for the prototyping and they know about it, that's great. But before you give it out as a product, I think it's important that you guys test it out. Just my piece of advice, but that's how we are also sort of approaching it.
And another thing, in terms of that, before you put the zeolite, any which ways, it's important to test the system. So run the system for at least a day or so without zeolite, so you can check all the leaks, figure out.
There's one hack in there. Before using zeolite, you can use Atta.
Test the moisture. We just ran it empty. We just ran the tube empty for a day.
Oh, for the moisture and all.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a good hack, I think.
Okay, awesome. So that's great. Thank you for the. You guys are in which part of Andhra?
Rajahmundry, East Godavari district. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Amazing. Awesome. Fantastic. So that's great progress, guys. Next, I think I have Gorba. Gorba, you want to go ahead?
Sure. So I have 2 updates. One is we managed to move my home workshop to a place sponsored by one of the colleges. So hopefully now I can run the compressors late night and my neighbors don't yell at me. So that's one. Second one is, so we are talking about sodium and lithium. There's also a calcium-based variant of zeolite. So somebody, if interested, have a look at it as well. So that's 2 things from me. Yeah.
Thanks. Awesome. Congratulations. We heard about your space. So that's really great news. Bombay requires one great lab. So we're very excited.
Congratulations.
Awesome. Anyone else? Any updates from your regions or anything that you want to share apart from engineering questions?
Richa, I would like to share one of my friend from Chennai. He's a chemical engineer. When I have shared all my requirements, he has said me to utilize zeolite 5A.
5A. It's
Yeah.
apparently a better zeolite, in my opinion, right? Am I right or wrong on that?
No,
That's right, yeah.
equal to that, equal
Okay,
to 39.
equivalent to that. Sorry.
Equivalent
Yeah.
and better, yes. Some places
Depends again. It's a function of compressor and zeolite, right? At the end of the day. So I don't know.
Yeah, actually, end of the day, the important thing is what's available. I mean, 5A might be better. Lithium X is even better, but can we get it at this point? I guess no. So if we have 13X, we work with 13X.
Yeah.
So lithium one, we should not even think about getting into it because India doesn't have lithium. We have to like import most of the lithium raw material to manufacture anything. So I mean, just to be like conscious about that. I mean, if we can make it work with sodium, it will be great for the long run.
Makes sense. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
and it's cheaper.
Okay, I have two.
One quick thing for the guys who are doing this, especially Prem, Negi, everyone. Just make sure your pipes, especially for the sieves, are just double check, triple check your connections. Make sure your gluing is perfect. You're playing with a lot of pressure over there. 2 to 3 bars, sometimes 4 bar pressure. That's quite a bit of pressure. If things starts opening and cracking, we did a pressure test yesterday and we saw a big blast once again. I mean, but in our case, we did it in a controlled way. But if your fittings are not done exactly the way it's done, and you haven't tested it a couple of times, it can be dangerous. Yeah. So just everyone that's doing it for the first time, just be a little extra cautious and follow all the instructions to the T. Everything is there for a reason. Everything, every step is for a specific reason. Try and follow that. And if there's any question, if there's any doubt, just reach out. And tomorrow again, we'll have the engineering call. We'll be all there to help out and offer advice. Yeah. Stay safe.
One last thing, this last message that you just told, that needs to be broadcasted because we're using high compressors and everyone is forcing in that direction. So this needs to be broadcasted.
Yeah, we'll do that on the groups, I guess. Vaibhav, you can send a voice note to everyone with saying that it's important.
Yeah, it's super important.
Yeah. Okay, quick.
Put up a video proof. Put up a video proof.
We can't share the video proof till we have the product out in the market, guys. No, not happening.
It's scary.
Can't release a crash test before having a safe product out there. Man.
Yeah, we're setting it up.
Crash test needs to come second, but yes,
we'll
put that together.
There's a BTS video in order, so don't worry. All the bloopers are going to be captured and sent to everyone else. I'm just going to quickly go to Atul because he's not spoken. So Atul, you wanted to say something? I can't hear you. You're.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, so hi everyone. So the thing is that last day I just spoke to a DMO, district medical officer in our place. So she asked me that what's the certification of our device. So if we are providing any device, it should have some certification. That's what she asked me. So last time we had some face shield and all work, but they were okay with them. But in case of oxygen concentrator, they told me that the certification is a must.
No, I'm aware. I think you messaged me as well, and I think we are in conversation. Okay, just a quick update on that. We are in conversation with Manipal Hospital Group to get this tested at the hospital, hopefully soon, and also with Ramaya Hospital in Bangalore. So a couple of hospitals, big ones, are willing to test it out. So hopefully, if they can say okay to it, hopefully that works. That could be another sort of a way around this whole thing, because medical grade certification is obviously a very tedious process. So it's not going to happen in time, and hopefully we're able to sort of find ways to figure this out, because the need is pretty dire at the moment.
Even the ones from China that are coming in, they're not medical grade oxygen concentrators, by the way.
Yeah.
They're all recreational use oxygen concentrators.
At the moment, yeah.
Either they're recreational use or industry use. None of, very few of them are medical grade.
Even the Philips one are not medical.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, actually, they will only be questioning it if it's made in Kerala or maybe.
That's exactly what we need to change, right?
That's
That's exactly
the narrative that we're all working
Yeah.
towards changing.
So we all want to change that it has to
Yeah,
be
sure.
made locally and you should be able to use it, right? And that's important. But fair, we're working on that. Okay, guys, before I close it, Priyank, you want to quickly, your hand is raised.
So I don't have an update. I have a question. Somebody said that we have dry run the device for 24 hours. So I was really afraid that I shouldn't be doing that without Zeolite. So I'm sitting idle on the machine for last 3 days. So if somebody can just document it, that how can we dry run it? Like somebody said that you can use ATA. And as Vaibhav said that we just dry run it without Zeolite. I'm sitting idle for the machine with 3 days without Zeolite. Zeolite is coming tomorrow, but I want to try and test it. So there is no specification, nothing. So can you guide? Because I know almost four teams. I mean, Gujarat also who have almost on the verge of finishing, but they haven't started the device due to the fear of pressure and everything. There may be leaks, there may be blast. So can we document or some tutorial kind of thing?
So quite quickly, just run it at low pressure. Don't run it like in our case, the compressor we have is rated up 8 bar, but we're running at an input pressure of less than 3 bar. And then the rest of the system was actually running at around less than 1.5 bars, 1.5 bar or something like that. So, and then most of the pressure wasn't really building up because the outlet was again exhausting to atmosphere. So pretty much open-ended system, but we were still able to, I mean, we found a couple of leaks which we were able to kind of take care of and so on. So it's a good try run practice to, kind of run it either empty or with ATA. I mean, with ATA, my only worry with using ATA is I have to figure out how to dispose it off and then, kind of sort of up again and fill it with light and stuff.
So I got a little idea when you're talking. So now I will try it, but there are a lot of people who will be just trying it directly on Zeolite, and you don't want them to do it. So just an advice or a tutorial that once you have built it, you should do it with this, because a lot of them are like we are just waiting for Zeolite. I say Zeolite will like हम चालू कर देंगे machine, but they don't know that there are leaks or humidity or no. They'll make mistakes.
Yeah. So one more thing I would like to add to what Anul said, right? So you can do few tests. We can write those tests like a shampoo test to check the leaks. And there are multiple tests that I've documented. I would like to share those. So I will be sharing those. These are the basic steps that you can do before starting it with the Zeolite.
Yeah, something like that. I'm not telling that I want it. I know that there are. I also tested with shampoo. I put the copper coil into water for leaks. So I've checked for leaks, but I want to check the whole machine, that is it working in a proper sense without Zeolite. Then the Zeolite comes into picture.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's a good way to get the, program your Arduino and make sure it's working, check that the relay is operating, make sure the solenoids are working, all your valves, okay, stuff like that. So yeah, I'd recommend you to just run a dry test without anything first. And then if you really want, you can even try it with the ATA. In our case, we were able to actually detect a couple of leaks. One was small enough that we had to use the shampoo trick to identify it. But then we fixed that as well. So yeah, I think, I mean, in electronics, we call it not having to release the magic smoke. So if you don't want your electronics to release all of its magic smoke, you have to make sure you run several tests to make sure things are all right, polarities are right, and so on. So it's basic engineering practice, really. You don't want to turn on a system without testing its submodules or stuff like that. So, and I'm sure the documentation team will actually add it once we make a final functional prototype and all of its documentation.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
And between us, I was just discussing with one of the things we're planning is to also have a series of videos explaining certain hacks that you might have to use or which can be useful when you're trying to build stuff like this. especially if you don't have access to special tools, then how do you do certain things, and so on. So these are all the kind of stuff that we are working on to make sure it's easy for everyone else to kind of follow instructions and not make mistakes.
All the jugards that we do, we'll share it with everyone. Yes.
Absolutely.
So yes, but in return, please share your jugards as well. I think that'll be super fun. So we all have good jugards documented together. But before that, Abhimanyu and Priyank, perhaps what I would request you guys to do is draft this out, the kind of test we can do and whatever, maybe a little document if we can start putting it down together, and then we can add to it and share it. Yeah. Abhimanyu, take lead.
Yeah, I also try to do that.
Yeah, Priyank, Abhimanyu, please take a lead. Maybe you guys can sync up later and just put some of these down. That'd be great.
Okay, thanks everyone. I think we should call it a night, and we'll catch up again tomorrow. Good night.
Good night, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Good night. Bye-bye.